Hey, welcome to Lithium, where we teach you how to build your community. Now, in this video, we're going to be running through something called questing platforms. Now, if you've clicked on this video, you might already be broadly aware about what a questing platform is, but we're going to specifically go into exactly what they do, why you might want to use them, and then some tips when thinking about what kind of questing platform to choose. So if that sounds like good, I'll leave the timestamps here. You can jump around if you want, but let's get into it. Firstly, let's think about what a questing platform is. Fundamentally, it's just a way to augment your current community and to maybe add some new users onto your community if you want. And the way they work is quite simple. You'll, as a community manager, be creating content. You'll be wanting to involve your community in different things like Twitter posts and design feedback and white papers or whatever it might be. And a questing platform just makes it very easy for you to close the loop with your community on the content that you're putting out. So what exactly do I mean by that in plain English terms? Well, basically it just means that whenever you post any content or you want your community to interact with anything, you can then post it as a quest or a mission on the questing platform. Your community will then be able to interact with that mission, do it, for example, tweeting a post or leaving feedback on a design, and then they're going to be rewarded for it. So it really is a win-win because your community managers get to get more engagement on their posts and get to amplify the reach of whatever they're putting out there. And the members get rewarded for putting in the work. So it really is a great way to just align the community incentives with what the community want. I ask is like, why do you need a platform to do this? Couldn't I just create a Google Sheet or something in my Discord that kept track of how much people were contributing and getting them to verify stuff? And the answer is like, you could actually do that. Like I've seen projects who've actually got pretty cool systems where they're awarding people for the work that they're doing. So it might be that they've got a Google Sheet and they're just keeping track of who's posting on the Discord every day and then giving them certain badges and things like that. And it can work quite well. The thing is, this with any significant size of community quickly becomes a massive chore. Like if you're wanting to sell a book, you wouldn't set up a website, try and find the right people and then distribute it and package it and everything yourself. You just go on Amazon and post the book that way. And that's exactly why these questing platforms exist, because they're just a great way for you to get distribution of your missions and to provide a really easy way for you to set them up and mark them automatically. Questing platforms have become quite synonymous with Web3. There's not really any particular reason for this. There's no reason why, if you don't have a crypto token, you couldn't use a questing platform. But it does make it a lot easier. And the reason for this is just simply incentives. If you're wanting to close the loop with your community and deliver rewards for them completing a certain action, it just makes sense to have it be done through a Web3 token, and ideally the token that's native to your project. Because what this does is it makes sure the incentives are aligned. You don't want people coming into your project and getting involved in all these quests just to be getting paid in some USDC rewards, because they're not going to feel involved or ownership in that project. Whereas if you give them a native token reward that is specifically for your project, where you're basically giving them ownership in it, then they're much more likely to do these tasks for the right reasons, which is they want to be involved in the community rather than just doing it for a quick win. So exactly how do these questing platforms work? Well, to do that, we'll use an example of a early stage gaming project looking to get initial beta users for their game, because obviously that's an incredibly important thing that any gaming project is going to be focused on. So what they might do on one of these questing platforms is upload a key that would allow a user to get access to the beta game, and then a number of tasks that would encourage them to start playing the game day after day after day. The idea being that they're going to get feedback on whether the game they've developed is any good, and also just really understand the community sentiment towards the game. So they might create, say, 3 different quests on the questing platform. The first one would be, let's give them access to the game. The second one would be show proof that you've actually interacted with the game. And the third one might be some token element, for example, complete an on-chain interaction with the game. And this could just be on the testnet, which would then show that that user had gone through, a certain amount of levels or whatever it might be. And you can apply this to anything. I think the game is a good example because it shows something real and actually valuable to the community, not just kind of Twitter retweets and things like that. But you can apply this to anything from gathering feedback to amplifying social media posts. It really is limitless what you can do with these questing platforms. So now we've gone through some of the benefits of using a questing platform. Let's look at some of the drawbacks and downsides, or just things that you want to be paying attention to. So the first one is chasing shallow, superficial engagement. If you use some questing platforms, what you'll often find is you get a huge spike of users within the first week of putting up your quests. So you might say, okay, I'm going to give out, X amount of tokens or X amount of rewards. A load of new users pile in, you get all these quests starting to be completed, and you think, great, I'm getting huge traction here. But then what starts to happen is that activity drops off. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, you'll have next to no activity, or activity from quite low value users who are literally just farming these rewards. So there's a few ways that you can get around this. The first one is to make sure that when you're putting quests up, they are actually quests that are going to drive engagement and aren't just easy to bot, like, Twitter follows, Discord messages, things like that. This could be like the example used earlier of actually playing the game. It could be using on-chain missions where people have to, stake on your platform or whatever it might be. There's a ton of different ways that you can really make sure that you narrow down on the community members that you want and stop the airdrop hunters and the bots just coming in and farming all of the rewards. Another thing to look out for is the rewards that you're giving out and when you're giving them out. If you have a quest that anyone can do that offers, a large amount of your token, you can't expect people to hold on to that token. It's not going to happen. What you want to do is make sure that there's certain missions, and a lot of these questing platforms provide this, that are locked until you get to a certain level. So you have to actually interact with that platform or your product, day after day after day, complete these missions, and then you unlock a mission that's actually going to give you some tokens. So that's another thing that you can look at, because what you don't want to happen is to put up all your rewards and then someone, a load of bots come along, take these rewards, rather than actually focusing on the valued users who you want to reward for their long-term activity. So hopefully that's given you an overview of what questing platforms are, why they might be useful to you, and a few pitfalls to look out for as well. If you want to learn more about questing platforms, make sure to follow and subscribe to this channel. We're going to be making loads more videos and looking at pros and cons of different ones. And you can also check out the Lithium website that has, our questing platform and how it all works. And you can then make an informed decision on whether that might be a good fit for you. So thanks a lot and enjoy the rest of your day.